Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Kenyan, still trapped in this body.
In this husk.
Trapped in this mortal husk.
I'm Lucy. Same boat.
I'm Amanda. Am I even on the boat? I don't know.
She's dangling off the side. You're clinging by your pointy fingernails.
At least I got my claws put back on because I need them to claw my way out of this hell.
But you got your claws put back on and then you painted your entire house.
Yeah, but my claws are clean because I wear gloves when I paint. I'm not going to fuck these up.
Okay, that was my question.
But my hair has a lot of paint in it.
You
Just
mean you
speckles
don't
of yellow?
You don't have any head gloves?
I actually have a shower cap. And I didn't bring it because it's at my apartment bathroom, not my house bathroom.
Well, goddamn.
It's not at my summer home.
Just put a CVS bag around your head.
I don't even have that at the house.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
I have nothing if I don't have you.
Empty CVS bag, shower cap.
But I'll be better prepared when I paint again in 100 years, because that's the next time I plan on painting.
Painting sucks.
It sucks.
Try hanging wallpaper.
No, I don't want to.
And painting.
I'm going to hire a professional
On the
if I
same
ever
day.
have that urge. No.
The good news is it looks amazing.
It really does.
All right. Well, for our Patreon supporters and everyone from $1 a month on up who supports us on Patreon, they get to see this episode as a video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. And they'll see Lucy sporting some of our new merch. Yeah, we have
cute.
New merch, butt plug section. We've got Gossip at the Corpse Cart hoodies. They are the softest, coziest.
They're cute. They're cute.
They're real cute. We have fucking patriarchy leggings.
The leggings.
So cute and such good quality.
They passed the squat test, people.
You will never pay $100 for a brand of leggings that rhymes with Foo Clemen ever again.
No need. Just get all of your foo-foo Clemens at wineandcrimepodcast.bigcartel.com. And we have pet bandanas.
They're so cute.
Bandanas.
Callie's wearing hers right now.
Show her. Show me the baby.
I literally can't because I'd have to move my entire desktop computer for you to see her, and it's not worth it. But I'll take a picture later.
Text me a photo.
We'll take pictures of all the pets and their bandanas. Josie is very wary of any kind of costumes, but I will get one on her for sure.
I would not classify this as a costume.
No.
She's very sensitive.
It's an accessory.
Though.
She's really sensitive. We tried to give her a yarmulke once. Traumatized.
Oh, no.
Does she wear a collar?
No, she's chipped. She doesn't wear a collar.
What if she ran away and a neighbor found her? How did that one neighbor know to bring her back to you?
Because she's very recognizable. She's basically a celebrity in our neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Should have known.
She's never had a collar. She's got so much neck fluff.
Yeah. Well, I pinned Ray down with all my body weight and tied the fucking patriarchy one around his neck.
You literally wrangled that hog and hog-tied that hog.
I did.
Your cat is an actual pig with hair.
Yeah. Lots of hair.
Plump little piglet.
Come here, Ray. What's your personal review of the pet bandana?
I literally can't see it because
I can't either. Is he wearing it right now?
it?
No.
Oh, Jesus Lord. I thought it was just in his
buried
fur.
in the fur.
He's real furry.
You definitely made it seem like he was currently wearing it.
You read
We did
between
not
lines
hallucinate
that
that.
weren't there, but
Okay, moving on. So we've got a bunch of new merch. Go check it out. It's awesome. Treat yourself. It's been a hard year. You deserve.
wineandcrimepodcast.bigcartel.com.
Yeah.
That's the place to go for all of your comfy, never leaving your house ever again needs.
also holiday shopping season. Also,
It's
there's
here.
more merch to come. So
Yeah.
keep your eyes open.
Uh-huh.
And the prize.
Okay, so we have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by Ryan Ladina.
Oh, Ladina.
It's Dinah.
I never see it coming.
I say
always
it
good.
all the time.
I know.
It's good
And
every
I
time.
Never, ever see it coming. Ryan has selected the topic of Lumberjack Lunatics.
Yeah.
Who
Which
knew
is
that this would be
awesome.
kind of a dark episode?
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, my case is the fan pick, and I had heard of it before, but I hadn't ever done a deep dive into it. And it's what's it? Sloppy bananas.
Sloppy Bananas. I had not heard of this guy that I am covering before, and Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, who knew that when you isolated men in the woods, far away from other people,
On
and
the
gave them
fringes of
weaponry,
society.
things could go wrong.
Who knew?
Did either of you cover the mysterious assassination of Babe, the big blue ox?
I
No.
thought about doing it, but there wasn't enough information.
Yeah,
Probably
But
because
I
I just
came-
made it up.
I found articles about how, not the ox, but how Paul Bunyan
Paul Bunyan. Yes.
was likely a real person who met a grisly demise. So, it's real, maybe,
Cool.
but there wasn't enough info for me to make a whole case on it. And then there was another one that I was going to do, but it had too much information because it was kind of unsolved, but very likely that this person was a serial killer who actually is the most likely fit for, what was the axe murder in Iowa where you can rent the
Villisca.
house?
Yeah.
Yeah. They think they know who that was now.
A lumberjack? Was it Paul Bunyan?
Not Paul Bunyan, but literally a vagabond man who did a bunch of logging and was actually a lumberjack.
Cool.
And hopped trains and went from town to town because they can track
Yep.
a lot of his movement. And then he was in Iowa at that time.
The train, the vagrants on the train is my favorite theory because you look at a map,
Yeah.
It's definitely
that's
the
what
most
happened.
solid theory, but there's an actual specific person that they think this was. I'll send you the article, but for me, I like shit wrapped up in a neat little bow. So it was
Yeah.
there's too many places this could go, and I don't want to work that hard. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Not wanting to work.
tall tales, my mom has a bunion on her foot and she named it Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's add that to the list of things I could have done without knowing.
You already knew it.
You knew the
I
bunion.
very gently and conveniently forgot about. Funny, I don't think often about your mother's bunion that's so big
do.
that she
I
named it.
do.
It's substantial.
Shoe
Ish.
shopping is a real task.
I've seen that woman barefoot. Her foot is a C because of that bunion. It's
Yeah.
the shape of a C.
It seriously is.
Like a classic witch's toes is based off of your mother's feet.
It's the mark of the devil.
Yeah. It's not good.
Oh, she's such a nice lady, though.
She's got to make better choices and then maybe that'll go away.
I remember being 12 years old and being like, Mom, is that genetic?
Oh, God. You can have them surgically removed. Why hasn't she gotten the surgery yet?
Kenyan's mom had the surgery and she was
Yeah.
laid up for a month.
What does your mom have to do?
My
doesn't
mom
have time
had
for
bunion
that.
surgery?
I think so.
I don't recall that. My
I
mom
do.
had a hysterectomy.
No. Maybe she just
Very
told
similar
me.
surgeries.
Maybe she just told me about the because it's your bone. You got to fuck up your foot completely and let the bone grow back. You know what?
All right.
We're on back to the lumberjack.
This is Lumberjack crimes, people.
Sorry, guys.
10
Lunatics.
minutes into this episode.
Sorry, listeners. You know what? Okay.
Please support us on Patreon,
Let's
where you can find all the Bunyan content you never knew you needed,
hashtag Bunyan fact.
available at $1 or more a month.
Onion facts. Ooh, this is our new spinoff.
Okay, Amanda, what's our wine crime pairing
No.
for?
For Bunyan
Lumberjack.
crimes.
Okay, today we're drinking corn wine. Just kidding. Winc's Restless Earth Syrah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously. What else could we have picked? Quick reminder that Winc Wine Club is the greatest gift that the gods have ever created. It's an online wine club that delivers wine directly to your door or local Walgreens, wherever you get your hemorrhoid medication. And they have an ever-changing array.
Your shower caps.
Yep, your head gloves. Ever-changing array of inventory, and I know I've been saying this the last couple episodes, but for real, if you have not yet joined Winc, now is a great time to do it because they've just kind of shifted into their fall inventory, and they have some really beautiful wines that will be so great for spending the holidays behind plexiglass, hoping you can come anywhere near your grandmother. And these wines pair well with that kind of depression. So,
Isolation and cold
Check.
weather and constant
Correct.
darkness.
yeah.
Yeah.
So check out trywinc.com/gals. That's trywinc.com/GALS for $20 off your first box. I just got mine 2 days ago and realized that I accidentally ordered some of the wrong wine, but wine for upcoming episodes, but some of the wrong wine. So this is fun. But today we're drinking the Restless Earth Syrah, which comes from a vineyard in the Paso Robles Highlands District. This is an American viticultural area that is unique within California. It's set at a high elevation, so this region sees the most extreme diurnal swing. Which is the difference
that
in
sounds
temperature
painful.
from
Yeah,
day to night.
kinky.
It's like
Diurnal.
I don't know if I'm
diurnal.
that flexible.
It's like being on the dark side of the moon and then suddenly the light side of the moon.
Okay.
But this has
big
the most
swing.
extreme fluctuation in the entirety of the United States. So they experience an average temperature of 50 degrees during the growing season. So this, along with the generally warmer than average temperature during the day in that AVA, provides an ideal growing environment for heat-loving grapes, giving them time to develop complexity before they become overripe because they cool off in the evening. So it's like
Interesting.
literally perfect. So Syrah is a varietal that benefits from all of these factors, leaving us with a very special bottle of Restless Earth. The grapes are picked early to preserve natural acidity and fermented and aged in stainless steel to preserve a true expression of Syrah. The result is a wine with notes of bright red fruit, smoked meat, and herbs.
Smoked meat fits for lumberjack.
It sure does. It's great for hearty barbecues, but also, you know, it's got enough finesse to pair with earthy vegetables. Like a tree,
Winter
like
root
tree bark.
veggies. Oh, yeah.
Like boiled tree bark, which is what we'll be living off of by January when the apocalypse hits.
Well, plan ahead and salt your dead.
Yeah,
If you already
plan ahead,
know.
salt your dead, also vote. This clocks in at 14.8% ABV.
Ooh, it's a strong one.
Hi.
Be the highest ABV wine that we've ever featured.
Good.
So I'm just going to make a disclaimer right now. Do not jack any lumber after drinking this.
No.
Okay?
Not jack any lumber.
That's what it is. Don't jack it. It is a popper, so you're going to want to get your hands on a nice pop wine key from our online store, winecrimepodcast.bigcartel.com. And shall we?
Yeah.
Here we go. The struggle reflects the struggle.
Surprise.
That is something. I have some heartburn, so I'm going to have approximately 3 sips of this and then switch to a sparkling seltzer.
Perfect.
Okay.
I planned ahead. I have water. I have Tums. I have seltzer. I have wine. I am ready.
I planned ahead too because I only have a third of a bottle of wine left.
Put that White Claw on deck, baby.
Oh, yeah. Also,
I have hot cocoa with Bailey's in it.
nice.
Yum.
You know what that diurnal swing reminds me of? When you're up at the cabin and it's wintertime, so it's cold, so you hang out in the sauna, and then you get all steamy, you jump right into the snowbank.
Oh, is there
for
anything
sure.
better?
Ooh, that is good. Like leathery but fruity,
Smoked meaty.
a little smoky. Yeah, I can definitely. I'm tasting it. These notes are a spot on.
Nice.
Perfect.
All right. Well, Lucy, let's get to your notes.
Oh, Jesus. Get the mic out of your mouth.
Well, that's my returning the favor for Paul Bunyan.
Okay, fair.
What is our background and probably not psych for
Bunyan crimes.
Lumberjack Lunatics?
I spilled wine already all over myself.
Oh, no.
I don't care. This sweater's horse shit.
Oh, I thought that was your fisherman's sweater. I got really scared for you.
I would never drink red wine in cashmere.
No. Mama did not raise
Opening
a
my
fool.
second beverage. Mama did raise a fool, and that's why I know not to wear cashmere and drink red wine.
You're a fool that learns your lesson. All right. God, that is the biggest bottle of water I've ever seen from Kenyon.
Oh, I hydrate now. I go through a lot of these puppies every day.
So your pee isn't mustard yellow anymore?
no, it's
neon
like
green.
clear. Did you know that pee could be like clear?
Yes. I did know this.
Jesus. Okay. So, Lumberjack Lunatics, I'm a bit sensitive to this topic at this moment because just this past week we had the last 2 mature trees on our property cut down. They were victims of the August derecho. And this morning, I heard more chainsaws, and I'm like, what the fuck now? Our neighbor is having their tall tree cut down. So there is now 0 tree cover in our entire yard. And that makes me really sad because we live in a very old house. It'll be 100 years old next year. So, like, it's just sad.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the
Gotta
fucking
plant
suburbs.
a new one and watch it grow.
Yeah. A tree grows in Des Moines.
I'm going to plant a few. Okay. A lumberjack is usually a North American worker in the logging industry who performs the initial harvesting and transport of trees for the ultimate use as forest products, which are lumber, paper, forage for animals, etc. And by forage for animals and like livestock, I'm picturing like the cedar chips that you get for your hamster.
Sure.
Okay. I was like, beavers? I didn't really understand what that.
Like shit you'd find in a barn. Mulch.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
Got it.
sense.
Sure.
The term usually refers to loggers in the era when trees were felled using hand tools and dragged by oxen to rivers. So that would be like pre-World War II in the United States.
that just sounds fucking miserable.
We'll get to the misery. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
The work, well, here we go. The work was difficult, dangerous, intermittent, low-paying, and involved living in very primitive conditions. Several of the articles I read about, like, the historical nature of being a lumberjack referenced cooties,
No, like lice?
lice, bed bugs, cooties.
Are you okay?
Drink your water.
Amanda's face.
I'm fine.
Okay. Was it the cooties?
I don't do well
With lice?
with lice.
Okay,
Really?
turns out.
Really.
I didn't realize that was a
I've
major
never
thing
had
for
it.
you. I've never had it
Oh.
either.
And it
No, I've had it.
Ew. Did you have to get deloused?
Stop. Loused.
Oh my God.
I can't.
You have nieces. It's
I
just
can't-
like a regular run-of-the-mill thing for little kids.
Nope, I don't have any of that. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
I did not know about this hang-up.
Yeah. I learned something new about
How
you.
often do we discuss lice?
How often do
Not
we
often
discuss
enough.
bunions?
Exactly.
Okay.
Way too often. The fact that you expected me to recognize your mother's named bunion indicates it's brought up too much.
Yeah.
Do you think your mom would let us put a picture of her bunion on the blog?
100%.
Oh my God.
I'll have this in our group chat. I'm going to text her right now.
Okay.
Okay. After my segment.
I'm leaving our group chat.
All right. However, the men built a traditional culture that celebrated strength, masculinity, confrontation with danger, and resistance to modernization. And yes, virtually all of them were men.
Mm-hmm.
Other words for lumberjack are a woodcutter, a shanty boy, which struck me as racist, but
That sounds
Yeah,
racist.
that feels real
a
derogatory.
shanty is what they called their camps.
The little shacks.
No, their
yeah.
little camps.
Okay.
Whatever. I Googled it. It's not racist in this context.
Oh, good.
A wood hick, which apparently is like colloquialism in Pennsylvania. A timber cutter, a cool cutter, like a cool mom, or a lumberjill.
I'm not a regular cutter. I'm a cool cutter.
Yeah.
Lumberjill. I love it.
The person who drives the logs downriver was called a river pig, catty man, a river hog, or a river rat.
These are all terrible names. If Catty Man is the best one to choose
I like
from,
River Pig.
I like river pig.
River Hog.
Yeah. Wood hick is pretty cool too. So the word
Wood tick. Wood.
another hang up, really?
I don't like things that sit, burrow, and feast off of your blood and
Tapeworms?
flesh.
Have you seen that frog?
I can't see a tapeworm though. So
Leeches.
Have you seen a frog that
no
like
leeches? No,
that like
no,
its
no.
babies like grow in those little pockets on its back? It's
No.
so disgusting. Like the adult mother's back has like little holes in it, and the little tiny baby frogs just live in those little holes and like squirm around. It's so fucking repulsive.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine
I'll
that
take your word for it.
I'll Google
on
it.
your skin, and that's ticks,
in your hair.
slugs, not slugs, leeches.
Okay. Moving on. We're 23
Fleas.
minutes into this episode.
Okay. I had fleas once.
Stop.
Roundworms, ringworms. The word lumberjack comes from Canada, first used in a 1938 letter, I believe, that was sent to the newspaper in Cobourg, Ontario. Quote, "My misfortunes have been brought upon me chiefly by an incorrigible, though perhaps useful, race of mortals called lumberjacks. Whom
Race of mortals.
It was the 30s.
What is this, Outlander?
It was the 1830s. Whom, however, I would name the Cossacks of Upper Canada, who, having been reared among the oaks and pines of the wild forest, have never been subjected to the salutary restraint of laws." They were just like
Quick
woodsmen.
anecdote.
Okay.
While walking Josie the other day, Zach goes, "Look at that beautiful Douglas fern."
Like in earnest?
Yeah. I was like,
No.
what?
He also asked what a pontoon was and what a cul-de-sac was.
He goes, cul-de-sac, he goes, "You mean like a dead end?"
Yeah, but it's round, so it's easier to navigate.
And pontoon, he always forgets, so he just calls it a barge.
That's accurate. A barge for people to drink on.
But yeah, I don't know. He thought
Kind of a barge.
it was a Douglas fern. And I was like, "Douglas fir." And then he was like, "F-U-R?" I was like, "No. F-I-R."
This man has a doctorate.
He's working towards a doctorate. Hopefully
Not
that'll be a
in trees, clearly. That city boy needs some street learning in the rural parts of the world.
Actually, towards the end of my segment, I give you a pretty good handbook for turning Zach into a lumberjack.
Oh, all right.
Lumberjack. He's this side of the river's greatest trader of
Pelts.
ferns.
Ferns. Does he know what a fern is?
I had to explain it to him.
What a fern was?
I tried to explain the difference and why I laughed when he said fern.
I'm pretty sure there are ferns growing in your backyard.
Whatever. We'll move on. But I just thought that was funny.
Douglas fern. Look at that majestic Douglas fern, he proclaims.
With the confidence of a white man raised in Brooklyn who had never seen a tree.
A tree
before.
does not grow in Brooklyn.
No.
A fern
Clearly.
does.
Okay. So the job was seasonal and the lumberjacks migrated according to where they could find work. They typically lived in tents or bunkhouses, shanties. The practice started in Canada hundreds of years ago when native peoples felled trees with stone axes and fire. I don't know how they used fire to do it really, but whatever.
Well, if you control it and burn around the trunk, that I could see that working.
There have been native practices of fire being used to control like forest floors for fucking eternity, and then colonizers came in and outlawed that practice, and now we're like, why is everything on fire?
But I wasn't sure if they did that in order to like harvest the trees or just to control and like make the forest work the best for them and their agriculture.
Or actually felling the trees.
Yeah.
It's probably a combination of all of the above to some degree, I'd imagine.
I think also that since native people were so nomadic, that they did not build structures out of wood the way that Europeans do, so they didn't require as much wood. They just used it for fire and for like building tools and things like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
some structures and some equipment, but not
permanent structures like residences.
sedentary. Yeah.
After the arrival of Europeans in the early 1600s, forests were cleared to make room for farming and to provide firewood and, again, to build these permanent structures. And this is a quote from the Canadian Encyclopedia.ca, because it's
the best
Canadian.
encyclopedia.
It was only around the turn of the 18th century, however, that the professional logger or a lumberjack was born. This is really poorly written, I'm warning you right now. Over more than the next 100 years, the timber trade in eastern Canada flourished. It grew to be the backbone of the region's industrial economy and focused on harvesting white pine. You should ask Zach about white pines.
Douglas fir.
White pies.
No.
White pies. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know, hand tossed, thin crust, kind of white pie you want.
Like Alfredo? I got you. From roughly 1800 to 1840, production was centered on cutting and hewing square timber for the British market. Then this industry underwent a reorientation whereby the pine logs were increasingly sawn into planks for the sale largely in the United States. So this sounds kind of boring, but I also thought it was interesting how the industry was focused on sales in different parts of Europe and also North America, like kind of as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a nerd. It was estimated that during the 19th century, which was the heyday of the white pine era, half of the males in Canada were employed as lumberjacks. Half.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. For the longest time, lumberjacks toiled from dawn to dusk 6 days a week and lived tightly packed in shanties or bunkhouses whose odor, which was a mix of smoke, sweat, and drying garments, was as...
You know they're talking about like lumberjack panties.
Well, it's just musty. Fucking
moist
musty.
lumberjack panties.
Honestly, the socks could be worse.
Ugh.
I don't know, ass. A man's ass.
Ass and balls after a day in the forest.
I think the underwear would be worse. Ball taint, sweaty taint smell. Also, they didn't really have underwear. So it was like a whole under layer.
Yeah, the underdress.
And I bet you it was made out of wool.
It was not MeUndies.
It was not MeUndies.
It was not micromodal.
It was not a cotton poly blend. No 4-way stretch here.
No.
Micromodal.
Oh,
It's not.
oh no.
Oh, dear God. Okay. Where did I leave off? Okay, so the odor was as distasteful as the bed bugs they supported.
Oh. Back to the bugs.
Back to the cooties. I'm sorry.
Stop.
Strict. I'll give you a trigger warning next time because I'm pretty sure there's at least one other mention.
Just blanket trigger warning on the whole episode is fine.
So who would have thought Lumberjack would repulse Amanda so much?
It's just...
Your boyfriend kind of looks like a lumberjack.
And that's hot. The look is fine. The look is fine.
We'll get
and
to the
quite
look.
frankly, some of the smells I can deal with.
I love the smell of pine.
It's lice. Can't.
And the
it's when there are
tainty
living,
wool.
visible living things digesting of your flesh and foulness.
Is it
Where
imagining
my line is drawn.
Is it imagining it on a human body, or would you be just as repulsed if Callie got bugs?
Oh, I would be just as repulsed. Because it's the proximity to me. Like if Callie got fleas, that means I can get fleas, and then I'm dealing with fucking fleas, and I'm not having it.
It's not that bad. They just give you an ointment.
I don't know. I don't ever want to learn that. I'm
I can't
fine
believe she's
not
never
knowing
had
how
fleas.
to treat it. She's
Josie's
never
had fleas.
Lucy's literally had fleas.
Well, how I got fleas
poor
is such
gal.
a mystery because that was the one period in my life when I did not live with an animal. That was during the summer I lived in an apartment in Des Moines by myself.
It
the
was
most
the summer
luxurious.
of 69.
It was the summer of 2009.
Having fleas.
And my doctor.
God.
And then I think I told my landlord, so I was like, I need to get my apartment like bombed or whatever.
Fumigated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, so you did have an animal in here? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like, well, you did, obviously, because you have fleas. And she like did not believe me that I didn't have a pet, like a secret pet.
I mean,
Why
I
would
kind
you
of don't
call
believe you
her?
that you didn't have a secret pet, but
You bitches would know if I had a secret fucking pet.
absolutely. That's the only reason I'm like, okay, this tracks.
It could-
We would have been in on
the
it.
closest thing would have been that animatronic, like the little robot kitten that breathed that I faked all my
You
Why?
bring out your Furby.
my fleabee.
Okay.
Where did I leave off? Okay, strict rules often governed many of the bush camps. Many were alcohol free, and for the longest time, talking during meals was strictly forbidden.
Oh, good. So it was also fun.
Oh,
Joyless.
Yeah, it was like a military, like it was really, it sucked.
Clearly.
Do you remember when we went to Wolf Ridge in 6th grade?
Yes.
They did a whole talk about the lumberjacks who lived and worked in northern Minnesota. And I remember
Yeah.
being like, haunted.
And I remember being like, when do we get back to taking apart the owl pellets? I don't care about this stupid lecture.
I found a full owl pellet outside the other day. It was amazing. Okay. The food was usually top-notch, and enormous amounts of it were served.
At least they had that.
Yes.
Okay.
They need all those calories for all this physical labor.
Well, because they had like, you know, it's not like they were in the desert. They had like animals to hunt. They had all these winter vegetables. They probably had a shitload of potatoes. Pretty good.
That sounds good. I'll always eat a potato.
Oh, I'll eat a potato right now. Lumberjacks burned roughly 7,000 calories per day, which explains their voracious appetites. In addition, cooks sometimes only allowed 10 to 15 minutes for loggers to eat, accounting for the gravity often governing mealtime. So yeah, not fun.
So you just had to shovel down over 7,000 calories?
Yeah, that's what they do in the
In
military.
10 to 15 minutes?
Not, you have 10 minutes to eat and like you're not allowed to talk.
I mean, that's
think
what
it might
working in the restaurant industry is like.
Or having kids.
Eating over a garbage can, some leftover banquet food.
Oh, I've been there
as
so many
fast
times.
as humanly possible.
Cold
I can handle
potatoes
that.
O'Brien, just over a trash can.
Cold Titan toothpicks from Rock Bottom Brewery.
Yum.
Trigger me. Trigger me, daddy.
Oh, okay. The same approach was taken to work in the field, for it was some of the most dangerous in Canada. Don't forget, we are Canada focused right now.
My case is out of Canada.
Perfect.
So on brand.
Injury and death could occur at any time and in myriad forms, including being hit by a wayward tree or an infamous widowmaker, which is a broken limb just hanging, like dangling from a tree.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Apparently those killed a lot of people. Widowed a lot of women. Or just being crushed by a log that unexpectedly fell from its pile.
Just a gentle crushing.
There are photos on the drive. I mean,
of a gentle crushing?
No, but just to see how big these logs are. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of imagination, but like, especially this one black and white with these guys like standing in front of them.
Yeah, they're
massive.
Something 10% as big as one of these logs could easily kill you.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
And these are just like, you imagine this rolling down a muddy hill. Like,
And
you
then
could
they're
hardly
cutting
get out
that
of the way.
With like a 2-man saw by hand.
Yeah, by hand.
I'd die the first day.
I don't know how any prior generations survived.
Nope.
Yeah, just in general. So
I don't get
lumberjacks, they would have they'd have a guy who climbed all the way to the top of the tree, and he'd cut down branches like on his way up, and then he'd cut off the top like third of the tree or so and just let it fall. And then from there, they work their way down and just cut off like sections, like a few feet at a time, all the way down. And then so there was like a climber, and then there's people on the ground with like ropes, and they're like holding it to make sure it falls in the correct direction. And then there's also a guy with a whistle who will like whistle when there's something falling, or like if something falls by accident or starts rolling, it's like, oh fuck, get out of the way.
Right.
I imagine you could also like drop your tools. That could kill someone.
Oh yeah. This is
Or maim somebody.
in like the virgin Canadian wilderness. I'm assuming these trees are like 1,000. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
Lumberjack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
Okay, so considering the lumberjacks' cloistered living arrangements and exacting working conditions, it is little wonder they stirred up havoc each spring upon their return to civilization. Oh yeah, and they're doing this in the fall and winter.
Yeah, so it's freezing.
Yeah. Stories of them unleashing their pent-up need to brawl, drink, and carouse in places like Bytown, which is now Ottawa, are legendary. So the industry made its way down to Maine, Pennsylvania, and the upper Midwest by the 1870s. Lumberjacks were moving with Western expansion employed by quote-unquote Eastern money, which are just early American corporations. There was a lot of money invested in paper products, which is why
Dunder
there were
Mifflin.
so many fucking lumberjacks. Exactly.
Got it.
This is from foresthistory.org. The axe was the primary tool in the early days. Saws had been in use one way or another since the Roman era, but it wasn't until the 1880s that the cross-cut saw was modified with rakers, so like a little bit of a bent on each tooth that would carry the sawdust out with the cut.
Oh my God. So
Okay.
previously it had just been pooling in those spaces.
It had been a lot more difficult previously. It wasn't just sawing to like cut a line. You have to think
That
about the sawdust
sucks.
being pulled out also.
Right. Ooh.
Okay.
Hard nope.
So the men came to refer to the long 2-man crosscut saw, like that cartoonish 2-person saw that you're imagining. They called that the misery whip.
Oh,
Yeah.
Could anything be worse? That's a really good punk band name.
Misery whip.
First of all.
Oh, yeah. Or like your first child.
This just sounds
This is my
so
These
miserable.
are my twins, Misery and Whip.
I kind of like whip. You know I love misery. After World War II, the industry changed from human and horsepower to gasoline and diesel-powered motors for the most part. Cars also allowed the cutters to just live comfortably at home and travel to the work site rather than withstanding awful fucking living conditions.
Sure.
Big change.
Speaking of which, during World War II, German prisoners of war were sent to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the UP, to work in the woods, and the government had to build special quarters for these POWs because under the Geneva Convention, the lumberjacks' regular living conditions were unacceptable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So regular lumberjacks camps
Lived worse
were
than
worse
prisoners
than
of
prisoners of
Yep.
war.
That's bonks.
I know. It's sloppy bananas.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. The term Skid Row, which today means a poor city neighborhood, originated from the way that logs were skidded down hills, or what they called corduroy roads.
Sure.
So these corduroy roads were like muddy, you know, like in the middle of the woods, but they would quote unquote pave them with logs, like a flooring of logs all going one direction, which was not that much better because like a horse walking down one of those, for example, you could twist your ankle. Any living thing could twist its ankle.
Right.
Like really fuck up its ankle. So, but those are called corduroy roads. And in Seattle, there was a literal corduroy road named Skid Road that later became frequented by people who were down on their luck, and the term morphed into its current meaning.
Okay. I always thought that there was just one Skid Row.
No, it's like it's a term,
Like a
and
turn of
it
phrase,
doesn't
yeah.
come from the Skid Row in LA.
Interesting. Okay.
Here's another fun fact. Log rolling was a very real thing and actually really crucial to transporting logs across a body of water. So it's called burling, and its origin can be traced to the spring log drives of eastern Canada and the New England states, particularly in the state of Maine during the early lumbering era of the 19th century, from which it moved westward to the Great Lakes region and then to the Pacific Northwest. So on these spring drives, when the logs were floated downriver to the sawmills, the lumberjacks were required to travel downriver to manage this moving carpet of logs.
Wow.
Thousands of huge logs just being sent downriver, and then the lumberjacks would be like walking on these logs
Yeah.
to keep them from, to keep them from jamming at river bends or on sandbars, or like navigating around rocks, navigating around waterfalls, deadheads,
They
whatever.
weren't like tied together. They were just
floating.
Just floating there.
and
Wow.
people are just walking around on them.
Yeah. Isn't that
Walking
fucking
on
wild?
rolling logs.
Crazy.
We
So
lived
again, how
in
anybody
interesting
survived,
times.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I know. We bitch about staying home with Netflix. Like, this is
Yeah.
absurd.
I'm not going to stop
Damn.
bitching about that, but yes, this is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So thus the sport of burling developed. It consisted of hopping with an opponent onto a log and spinning it rapidly in the water with your feet, and then like stopping suddenly or reversing the motion, and in various ways trying to maneuver an adversary off balance and into the water. Dislodging an opponent.
7 brides for 7 brothers.
There,
For 7
there are
burls.
burlers. There are some photos on the drive of burling. And in the
Burl lives.
Not to be confused with curling,
No.
Right. Very different sports.
Or hurling.
which is what Amanda does when we talk about life.
Yep.
Whoa.
Dislodging an opponent constituted a fall, and 2 falls out of 3 constituted a match. So those are the rules of burling. So this one last thing I want to touch on for both of you, and let's be honest, for myself, the lumbersexual.
Yep.
Its precursor was the quote-unquote metrosexual, a look displayed mostly by the urban male wearing slim-cut pants, a button-down shirt with a narrow tie, cleanly shaved, and smelling good.
Zach was metrosexual for a long time.
Yes. The lumbersexual gives off an air of being interested in the outdoors, but not overly, is bearded, wears a flannel shirt, and loves those bars where you can go to throw axes and drink craft beers.
We've never done that
The axes?
in my relationship.
There's an axe throwing spot here in Louisville. Not that I've been to it because I can't go to anything, but it's here.
Yeah, we have them all over Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I've just never done it.
I've never done it either. Sounds fun, though. I feel like I'd be really good at it. The lumbersexual wears Carhartt, even if they live in LA in August. So this is from a gearjunkie.com article, which, as far as I could tell at first, was just a website of stuff dudes like to buy, like Food 52 for the lazy man. But
So it's not about gears.
no, it's about like gear.
LOL.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Dudestuff.com. But I later found out that this website, as far as I could tell, coined the term lumbersexual.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Whether the roots of the lumbersexual are a cultural shift towards environmentalism, probably not. Rebellion against the grind of 9-to-5 office jobs, or simply recognition that outdoor gear is just more comfortable, functional, and durable, the lumbersexual is on the rise. I will say also this was from like 2014, so like take
Maybe
The
they've plateaued at
lumbersexual
this
was
point.
here and gone.
oh, it's not gone for me. That's never gone if you're in the
It's
Midwest.
not gone in the Midwest. Yeah.
It's just
It's a way of life. The lumbersexual has been around
Right.
since Minnesota was colonized.
yeah.
But I also think in the Midwest, there's a lot more just normcore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never understand
Probably.
that phrase because normcore is just normal. It's not anything.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
normal,
pretty
but
much.
being aware, it's a choice to dress super normal.
I guess. Is my new GAC hoodie normcore?
No.
Oh,
Not even close. I don't think any of us could fall into that category.
No.
okay. Well, here we go. Whether the roots of the lumbersexual are a cultural... Wait, I just read that. Sorry. The lumbersexual is on the rise. There we go. Let's have a look at the spectrum of the lumbersexual. On the beginner's end, there's a photo on the drive of Ryan Gosling dabbling in the lumbersexual look while arriving on the set of a Hollywood film. LOL.
That's lumbersexual?
Notice the Jansport Plistanton. I guess that's just a type of backpack. Oh, yeah. A leather lumberjack style backpack complete with a laptop sleeve. And the Red Wing 875 work boots.
Oh,
I have so many
they
pairs of
look
Red
really
Wings.
good.
I mean, he looks good, but this is like beginner lumbersexual.
Also,
Okay.
Red Wings are a Minnesota
Feeling it.
company. You have to have Red Wings if you're a Minnesotan.
That's very
It just
true.
is what it is.
Yep. Not fully embracing the full lumber in lumbersexual, this cleaner, still slightly urban look we suggest should be called the Metro Jack. The Metro Jack has even been seen wearing pieces inspired from mountaineering. He might be wearing a Patagonia heritage jacket or some technical Cordura nylon pants that look great in the low light of a bar, but also provide protection from a chainsaw blade. The Metro Jack's reasonable grooming habits increase his likelihood of finding a Metro Jill or a Metro James.
A
Or a
lumberjack.
Metro neither. Or both.
Or a Metro Jan.
A Metro Pat.
Incredible.
On the other side of Metro Jack is the advanced lumbersexual. This man embraces the look with an unkempt beard, nothing tight, plaid, maybe even plaid on plaid, and an appropriate level of disaffection. He looks like
Now we're approaching Bill territory.
Yeah, I'm married to a advanced.
I'm married to a Metro Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting there. He looks like a hardened outdoorsman, but his flannel feels soft to the touch. He will open your beer with an omnipresent buck knife. He is a master of the retro Instagram filter. His flannel is coated with a waterproof DWR coating. His laid-back style has been honed with more effort than he would like you to know. So there we have a little bit. And then here is a segment from the Atlantic article, an Atlantic article called Lumbersexuality and Its Discontents.
And you.
And I'm just going to read the first part because it really gets
Over
deep
the top.
after that.
Heavy-handed.
Yeah, and I'm not, whatever. All right, here we go. The first one I met was at an inauguration party in 2009. I was in a cocktail dress. He was in jeans, work boots, and a flannel shirt. He had a John Henry tattooed on his bicep. He was
What's a John Henry?
John Henry. John Henry.
He had John Henry.
He is an African-American folk hero. He is said to have worked as a steel-driving man. Oh, he's just like a really top-heavy, burly, masculine man.
Okay.
He is also a fictional character, so let's not dig too much into it.
Got it.
Okay. He was white. Somehow, at a fairly elegant affair, he had found a can of PBR. Since then, they've multiplied.
Yeah.
You can see them in coffee shops and bars and artisanal butchers. They don't exactly cut down trees, but they might try their hand at agriculture and woodworking, even if only in the form of window box herb gardens.
Yep.
The lumberjack seems like a startlingly apt symbol for hipsters to appropriate. On one level, it's just a neat metaphor for gentrification. Lumberjacks were, after all, an ad hoc army of Caucasians invading regions they imagined to be empty, sucking up the local resources and leaving vast, bland spaces in their wake.
Wow.
The accuracy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of leaving nothing in your wake.
Yeah.
That was a devastating sentence.
But there's much more to the lumberjack symbol than another glib comment on urban white culture. This particular brand of bearded flannel wearer is a modern take on the deeply rooted historical image of Paul Bunyan. There we go again. An axe-wielding but amiable giant whose stomping grounds were the North Woods of the upper Midwest. Paul and his brethren emerged as icons in American pop culture a little over a century ago. What links the mythic lumberjack to his modern-day incarnations is a pervasive sense in his time and ours that masculinity is in crisis.
Okay. Yeah, it does get a little
That said,
highfalutin.
I am not interested in discussing the latest identity crisis of white men, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I thought the invading regions they imagined to be empty, sucking up local resources was a better kind
love
of way
it.
to leave it.
I love
Also, man, woman, neither or both. Wear whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, who cares? That metrosexual, lumbersexual, it's really fucking stupid, and I feel
As
like
long as you're not hurting anybody, you do you.
it's just a thing. It's a concept for people to write about and feel intellectual about and sell shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And your style is not your identity.
no, it's
No.
not.
You can have
and
preferences
it
and not
probably
have
will
those
change.
things define who you are as a person.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love wearing flannel.
I change every day.
I wear black leggings and a jean jacket every fall day. I know how basic that is. I don't care.
Leggings and some sort of sweatshirt.
Yeah.
It's a uniform.
I don't care.
I'm very attractive these days.
All right.
Anyway,
Well-
that's my seg.
Well done.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
Thanks.
Eye-opening.
Okay. So my case is a fanfic case. And like I said, I had heard about it here and there, but hadn't really done a deep dive on it. And it's sloppy bananas. So, Matthew Hoffman was born in 1981. He grew up in northeastern Ohio and moved to Knox County with his mother in 1997 when his parents got a divorce. So, classic 80s baby, 90s kid
Pretty much, yep.
scenario. According to people who knew him when he was younger, Matthew often seemed lost and unhappy, but not in a way that was like particularly out of the ordinary for a teenager. But now looking back on it in hindsight,
Red flaggy. Okay.
yeah. He finished high school though, and then afterwards he attended a technical college and studied to be an electrician, which good on ya. I can barely change a light bulb. At 19, he decided to leave Ohio and move to Colorado. And he found work there as a plumber, which I did not realize that being a plumber and being an electrician were at all
Different?
similar similar skill sets. But apparently he learned both or picked
I think
one
if you
up.
know enough about anything like kind of in that realm, you can sort of
Handiwork.
yeah, you kind of know it all. It's like a sliding scale.
Right.
You know?
Well, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of folks who work in a trade, especially a trade that takes place inside of a person's home, are going to learn multiple trades so that they're just maximizing their hire.
Actually, now that I think about it, my
Right.
uncle was because he's retired, a plumber and an electrician. So yeah, especially in like smaller towns, you get one van. It's a two-for situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just
Makes
have all the
sense.
stuff. And for a while, things seemed to be going well for him in Colorado. But then in 2001, Hoffman broke into a condo building that he'd previously visited for a job where he'd like installed some plumbing fixtures. So he broke in after that and robbed the place. And I don't really know what prompted that, but again, he had some issues going on that I think were bubbling up under the surface for a long time. So he actually left that building without being caught after the robbery. But in the days following, he couldn't stop obsessing and panicking about the possibility that he might have left fingerprints. And so he returned the next night with 10 gallons of gasoline and set the building on fire,
Wow.
ostensibly to destroy the evidence of his robbery. But again, arson like that,
You're only creating more
Leaves questions.
breadcrumbs
Evidence.
to you.
and also like they're gonna investigate arson
Oh, yeah.
way more thoroughly than
Just a little
robbery.
petty robbery. Yeah. The cops don't give a shit if you
Yeah.
get robbed.
It's also constantly mind-blowing to me how much information investigators can get out of like a burned down house.
Oh, yeah.
They
There are no secrets in a burned down house.
So
and arson.
cool.
Yeah, they figure that shit out. Also, again, this reason of destroying evidence, in hindsight, is circumspect. I think he just wanted to commit arson,
Yeah.
but that's what he said.
I don't buy it either, though.
Yeah. Luckily, all of the residents were able to get out safely before the building burned down.
Oh, right. The residents.
Oh, there's people there. Oops.
Yeah. Hoffman was soon arrested for both the robbery and the arson.
No
because,
shit.
Again, leaving way more of breadcrumbs. And he spent 6 years in prison before returning to his home state, Ohio. Back home, he began working sporadically as a tree trimmer.
Nice.
What were some of the terms? A river pig?
Those are just the people who
Well,
sent
that's
them
if you're
down
taking
the
it
river.
down the
Let's
river.
see. What are
Yeah,
others?
I
So he's a lumberjack.
Or a woodcutter or a lumberjill.
a cool cutter.
Yes, a cool cutter. I'm trying to find these. A shanty boy, a wood hick, a timber cutter.
A woodhick. He began working sporadically
Okay.
as a woodhick. This seemed to not just be a way to make money, though. Hoffman also had an obsession with all things related to trees and leaves. And when I say obsession,
Sexual.
I don't know. But beyond like, oh my God, I love that for you. I'm obsessed
I love
with
birch
that.
trees.
Like,
But I don't want to fuck
Wait.
one.
yeah, right.
Right.
He's-
I mean, well, I shouldn't say that.
Trees.
He's really, really into trees and leaves.
Dendrophilia.
But maybe not sexually, but definitely beyond normal range. It's also unclear if this is something that had developed as an adult or when he was in prison, or if this was like a lifelong thing. But he seemed to live in an elaborate fantasy world where trees had some sort of like special significance. to
Okay,
him.
so I just Googled sexual attraction to trees. There's a Healthline article. Part of it says, is dendrophilia inherently sexual? The answer is no. Some individuals with dendrophilia are attracted to trees in a passionate but platonic way. They may happily call themselves tree huggers because they find solace and connection being amongst nature, in particular trees.
Okay, so then we could call him a dendrophile.
Okay.
Sure.
time.
Yes, let's.
All right. In 2009, when lumber sexuals were at their peak, Hoffman got a home loan and purchased a dilapidated 109-year-old house. And let's raise the roof for everyone who has a dilapidated house. Although the home only cost about $36,000, it was still more than he could afford, so he really shouldn't have been granted this loan. Again, it's 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked extremely irregularly, and his car was like constantly in danger of being repossessed. And keep in mind, he still owed restitution payments for the condo that he'd fucking burned down in Colorado.
So there's a lot going on.
A lot going on financially. He barely worked. He just did not have any money.
But living in a house that you bought for $36,000 and like living there while you presumably rehab it, or like not even.
Not even.
That's rough.
And we will get to it. After Hoffman moved into his home, his neighbors immediately began noticing some strange behavior. He was constantly up in the trees on his property in a way that made some of them suspect that he was spying on them. Can you imagine if a guy moved into like a dilapidated house next door to you and then
was just
spied on
constantly
you from
climbing
his
trees? That's really, really eerie.
Real Michael Jackson vibe. Oh, you don't climb trees? You're missing out.
I don't remember that.
It's from an old interview with
I'm
Michael
sorry,
Jackson.
I don't like Michael Jackson. Hot take,
No.
I really, really don't like him, never did.
I don't think that that's that hot of a take anymore, honestly.
I don't know.
I don't think people are going to come for you for that one.
Watch it happen.
Yeah.
Derek Folder.
Hoffman also hunted squirrels on his property and cooked them over a fire in his yard.
That's just being
resourceful.
Yeah, exactly.
No notes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, some people, that's in Appalachia, like in some parts of the country, that is totally normal.
Let the man live and fuck
It's
a
a
tree.
shitload of
It's
squirrels
fine.
around.
A lot of squirrels, their meat, whatever.
Sustainable.
But his neighbors thought it was strange. So it wasn't something that was like common in the
Okay.
area.
Karen needs to stop calling the cops for dumb reasons.
Yeah.
Let your neighbor eat a squirrel.
Well,
Yeah,
if those habits in tandem were my neighbor, I wouldn't like call the police or anything, but it would be weird.
Probably wouldn't be bringing pies next door all that often.
no white
No.
pies for you.
Wouldn't be lending any
white
sugar.
pies.
In 2010, possibly because of his financial struggles and possibly for more sinister reasons, Hoffman decided to commit robbery again. The home he chose to target this time belonged to Tina Herman. She was a 32-year-old divorced mother who lived with her 2 children in an isolated split level that was within walking distance from Hoffman's house. So he chose someone
A neighbor, basically.
vulnerable and nearby his own home, which makes me think that, is he really trying to get money in a robbery, or is he
Getting his jollies.
Yeah.
trying to
Are there some
target a
jollies
victim?
happening here?
Yeah.
So on the evening of November 9th, 2010, Hoffman spent the night sleeping in the woods in a sleeping bag across the street from Tina's house, like staking it out.
Hi, I don't like that.
He is a true lumberjack.
Hi, my name is Amanda, and I don't like that. No. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
No.
Hi, my name's Amanda.
My name is Amanda, and
I don't like that.
No.
Said with a smile. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. No.
No.
Thanks, though. No, I don't like that.
In the morning, he...
No.
I don't.
I still don't like that.
It's still happening. I still don't like it.
It's bad, and I don't like it.
Okay. So, I'm trying to talk about this man stalking this poor single mother.
we don't like
Don't like it. Don't like it.
She's like, cool, we
in
still
the
have
morning.
a podcast.
In the morning, he like emerged from his fucking sleeping bag and then watched the house and waited for Tina to leave before entering her home through the garage door. Always lock your garage doors, people. Although people can still get in, but
everything.
It's so.
If I find a window that hasn't been latched for like a day, I like panic and search the house.
Freak out. Yeah, yeah. Hoffman would later insist that he went inside Herman's house that morning only intending to steal from her. But then Tina returned home unexpectedly along with her neighbor Stephanie Sprang about an hour later, and he claims that he then panicked.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. I still really
There's a lot.
Nothing has changed. I don't like it still.
Nothing about this. I like it. No.
However, he was carrying a hunting knife with him at the time, which
I don't like that.
I don't like that. Come on. I'm assuming he like decapitated these women.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this was the most planned.
Right.
This is the most fucking premeditation other than having like a diary of the day's events.
As we've just learned, a true lumbersexual frequently carries a knife on him.
That's true.
This guy, I mean, he laid in wait in a sleeping bag across from her house.
He also gives lumbersexual a new meaning, so
he's definitely a murder sexual.
He's a murder sexual.
He's a dendrophilic murder sexual.
So, as you will probably not like,
I already don't like.
He did use the knife, the hunting knife, and
of course he fucking did.
He ended up killing both of the unsuspecting women who had just like popped back in the house, and all of a sudden there's this strange man.
Don't need a reason.
And it's gonna get even worse. Hoffman was still in Tina's home hours later when her two children returned home from school.
Funny how he didn't panic after he accidentally murdered these two women. He just hung out.
Yeah. I also found that suspicious because he definitely knew she had kids. And he definitely knew that they were at school and that they would be coming home from school.
Yeah, he slept outside. He knew all kinds of shit.
Meow.
He explained it that he had briefly left in Tina's pickup truck, like stole her car to make a trip to Walmart to buy supplies for disposing of the bodies, and that he was still in the midst of doing this in the house's bathroom when the kids returned. And then he had no choice but to attack them.
You're not gonna get away with a murder of two people in someone else's home just while their kids are at school. It's
just not going to happen.
Stop trying to make it happen. It's never going to happen.
Stop trying to make murder happen. It's not going to happen.
He then murdered Tina's 11-year-old son, Cody Maynard, and tied up her 13-year-old daughter, Syrah Maynard. And Sarah's name was initially withheld from the press, but she later went public with her story and has used her name publicly, so I felt it was okay to use it publicly as well. So that night, Hoffman left the home in Stephanie Sprang's car, which was a Jeep Cherokee, and he brought the bodies with him. And Sarah's tied up.
Tied up in the Jeep Cherokee or tied up at the house?
I believe tied up at the house. The next day when Tina didn't show up for her shift at Dairy Queen, her boss became concerned and drove to her house to check on her.
Yeah, because he didn't like
Because he didn't like that.
No.
I wonder if people would drive to come check on me if I just didn't show up for one shift. I think they'd be like, ugh.
No.
Kenyan Flake.
Just get fired.
We would not drive to Kentucky to check on you.
Okay, but Amanda, as a former restaurant manager, if somebody didn't show up for their shift, would you be like, oh, fuck them, they're off the schedule? Or would you like call the police to have a welfare check?
It would really depend on who the individual was.
Right.
Because there are flaky people on your staff who are like repeat offenders of that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there are definitely people who if they don't show up and then you're calling and they're not answering and you can't get in touch with like anybody that is in their sphere, yeah, I'm going to send someone to check on you, but that's just never happened to me before.
That happened to my friend who passed away. He had like really bad like ulcers or something like that. And it ended up killing him. But he was late for a managerial shift and no one could get a hold of him. So one of his employees drove to his apartment and found him. Ugh.
That's what happened to my dad. He didn't show up for work and he was always not just on time, but early.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there when he was supposed to be there. And then he didn't answer his cell phone. So they called my mom immediately and they were like, he's never been even on time for a shift. He's always early.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And so my mom was like, well, something's not right. And then she drove home and sure enough.
Yeah.
Gonzo.
Your mom was so chill
So
about
call your
finding her
people.
deceased husband, though.
Well, she didn't find her deceased husband. She showed up because she called the police on the way. And they got there first. And she sat in the car because they wanted to make sure it wasn't like foul play, which they do, which is fine. And then finally she was like, fuck this. I have to pee so bad. This is my fucking house. And she like stormed in. She'd had it. God bless her.
Just walks past your dad's body to the bathroom to
Probably,
pee.
I mean, no, the way she would have gone in is probably through the kitchen where she would have gone to the bathroom first. But maybe the front door. I don't know.
Let's ask.
Ask your mom about the bunion and ask your mom about which bathroom and door she entered.
Well,
and
there's
if she
only
had to
one bathroom
walk
in that
over.
apartment. So it really just depends on the door. I can get that information for sure.
Okay.
I forgot to text my mom about the bunny, and I'm doing it right now.
Good. So, the boss went to her house to check on her and discovered the bloody crime scene, and then police, the bunion crime scene, and police immediately launched an investigation into the missing family. So, the missing persons report and this investigation happened way faster than Hoffman had expected. So he thought that he would have more time to like
get away
and cover up more shit.
Sorry, at this point, did they find Syrah tied up? The cops?
I guess he did take her with him. I'm sorry. I got that confused.
So maybe she was tied up in the Jeep.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. So he'd been planning on returning to the crime scene and burning down the house later that night.
Classic. What an MO.
Yeah, but now obviously he couldn't because the police are there, like taping shit off.
Kind of ironic
And
that he
so-
loved burning down buildings so much, with his love of like trees and wood and things.
Right? Or maybe it's all tied together.
I think it's connected.
Maybe we'll get to it.
Oh.
After bringing Syrah and the bodies of his other victims back to his home,
Ish.
he had gone back for Tina's pickup truck, which he stashed at a trail near Kenyon College
Oh, jeez.
in Ohio. So this is why I got confused, because he's driving Tina's truck, then he's driving Stephanie's truck, then he's driving his truck again. When he went back to get the truck, intending to drive it back to the crime scene, he found the police already there. And when police asked what he was doing driving the victim's car,
Yeah.
he made up a story about being in the area to meet his girlfriend and left. So they must not have realized, or I don't know, I don't really understand how he was able to just like drive away. I think maybe like some cop on duty was just like, sir, like this is a crime scene. Like, why are you slowing down or like parking here? And didn't like realize that was the victim's car.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like didn't run the plates quick enough is my only explanation. But then after discovering the Walmart bags in Tina's house, police watched the store's surveillance footage and saw the same man that they had encountered by Tina's truck purchasing tarps and heavy-duty trash bags.
I could see how initially they were just like waved him on past because like
Right, because they don't really know who they're looking for, and they just want to clear the area.
And that's such a random, he comes back in one of the victims' car. Like, that just wouldn't be on my radar.
And we also know that police work leaves a lot of room for, human error.
Yeah, or just miscommunication. Like,
Not
I'm sure
paying
the top
attention.
investigators know that her truck is missing and what it looks like, but maybe
they haven't informed everyone on the squad yet.
Taping shit off.
The guy guarding the driveway, Right.
So they were able to identify him as Matthew Hoffman and arrived to search his home 4 days after the murders. So from that surveillance footage, they were able to trace it back to him, which is pretty great. This is your neck and I like this.
Oh, I already don't like it.
They immediately knew that they had walked into something sinister when they saw his home decor.
Oh, no. Wait, but maybe I do like it. I have a confession to make.
Yeah, okay. Amanda's decorating her new home, so keep this in mind.
It is fall.
Give me ideas.
It's fall. His living room was chock full of thousands and thousands of leaves.
Yes.
Leaves. His bathroom walls were lined with more than 100 shopping bags of leaves.
Dead autumnal.
We were telling our friend,
rake the yard bags of leaves.
We were telling our friend Blortney to go hog wild with her fall decor.
This is what she came up with.
Comes home, and it's just bags of leaves.
It's just straight up brown dead leaves,
dead
all over the floor.
Yard.
It looks like a forest.
Glues it on the walls. That is what I'm here for. That is a fall decor commitment, and I love it.
I kind of like this fall decor of his.
I love it. I'm in. This is giving me spoopy haunted house, full haunted house vibes. Leave the babies out of this.
It's.
Oh, she looks gorgeous.
It feels like a Michael's craft store. If it exploded.
Yeah. I love it. No notes.
No notes.
No notes.
An examination of his kitchen revealed that his home freezer contained 2 red popsicles and 2 dead squirrels.
Sounds like my home freezer, honestly.
No.
That's more of a garage freezer scenario, but yeah.
Don't you guys remember when was it? Oh, when I was in middle school, my dad had picked up a dead squirrel off of the road because it wasn't quite crushed and he wanted to use the fur to tie his flies because he was into fly tying, fly fishing for a long time. And he wrapped this squirrel up in just casually in just a single plastic grocery bag and stuck it in the freezer and then maybe forgot about it for a little while. And my mom was going through to get a frozen pizza out or whatever, and
an ice pack for her bunion.
She was so pissed.
Yeah,
that's some your dad shit. And also, this is how he would live his life if it weren't for your mom.
So many
civilizing him.
My mom also just gave me full permission to post a picture of Paul on the blog.
Of Paul.
And I said, can you send a picture of Paul when you get a chance? And she said, my bunion, Paul? And I said, none other.
It's yes.
And she said, but of course, when I get home and take off my shoes, okay? Why? Who wants to know? And I said, it just came up on the podcast.
The yes
and my
before
second
the
part of my
ask
question is
key.
Yeah, the second part of my question is, can I put this photo on the blog? And she said, I'd be honored. So be sure to head over to the blog
so fucking
after
weird.
this.
I love it. Please do go visit Paul.
Okay, there's more about his decor, so there's more room for you to take notes.
Yes.
Many of his walls were also covered with bizarre doodles. There were giant peace signs, stars, random names written in marker. I mean, it sounds like a locker at this point. The bathroom had black doodles drawn all over the white tub including jack-o'-lanterns.
He's just super into fall and also homicidal.
Leave the tub out of this. Don't touch the tub.
When the police first entered his home to investigate, their assumption was that the leaves were some sort of bizarre way of concealing his victims and that they would find bodies underneath the piles.
Okay, that's smart. I see it.
That reminds me of that scene in the Jake Gyllenhaal, not the Tobey Maguire movie, where he's like an investigator and they find there's like that kid underground, like in that the
Prisoners?
Yes, prisoners. And they go into that suspected killer's house. There's all those black tubs full of snakes. It's
I have not
super
seen that.
ominous,
It's
but like
good
that was
and
like
really
a dead
gross, but
end
it's
somehow. Ooh. Anyway.
Yep. Well, the search revealed this to not be true, but when police continued exploring and they entered his basement, bathtubs full of snakes. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
The door of which had been barricaded by a cabinet. Nothing to
Oh my
see
God.
here.
Also a
Yep.
piece of the plot line in that fucking movie.
Pretty
Well,
much.
Oh my God.
Hey. They found Syrah Maynard tied up to a makeshift bed made out of fucking leaves.
I was going to say, it's got to be leaves.
Mostly leaves, and then something to actually tie
Tell
her
me there
to.
are photos on the blog.
Not of that part, but there are photos of the bags of leaves and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Lord. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
were not kidding.
You weren't
Yeah.
exaggerating.
This is like, it looks like it's being used as insulation.
Insulation or like sound muffling.
Sure.
But it's also so beyond that it's
it's
just
very
him.
organized.
well, some of it is. Then if you click on another
Well, yeah, the
photo,
tarp
But it was
is a mess. But
super-
this looks like it's a staging area for filling
it's
more bags, in my
intentional.
opinion.
Like it's not,
Mhm.
I accidentally left a bags of leaves
oh, he's got a
in here.
trampoline.
Mhm.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him.
Mhm. So this part is really you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, like it.
She was wearing a white plastic bag with holes cut out for her arms and legs. So
No.
she was like another bag of leaves
No.
for him on like a bed of leaves.
No.
Oh, that's so
bad.
disturbing.
I really don't like it.
I kind of do, just because it's so horrifying.
Please stop liking
Oh
that.
my
That's
God.
bad. That's really bad.
I don't
to
like that it happened
So-
to a real person, but I love it as
And
a
a plot
child.
twist in a fictional story.
This
Right.
is
I
not
know.
that bad.
No. So Syrah was confused and in shock, obviously, when she was discovered.
But alive, thank God.
But alive.
A leaf.
But she didn't know. Let's leaf the puns out of
Leave
this.
her alone.
Okay.
She
She's been raked through enough.
Okay, we really can't. This is a child victim whose mother and brother were murdered. I can't.
God.
It was a good
It was
pun.
a good
It was a really good pun. Yeah,
It'll be our downfall.
20 recipes for your downfall.
The downfall of
Downfall of
humanity.
your career. Yeah. Great.
Okay. So she didn't know that Hoffman had killed her mother and brother because apparently she had run to her room when she got home from school and found Hoffman in her house. And so she hadn't seen the other bodies, but she just like saw this guy in her house and then was kidnapped by him.
Sure. It happened so fast.
Yeah. She insisted to the officers who found her that she was late for school and needed them to take her to school.
Oh
she's
my
so
God.
good.
This little angel.
She's in shock. She also told them that she was scared that Hoffman might have killed her dog. And this turned out to be true. So when Hoffman was questioned after his arrest, he admitted that he killed the dog because it wouldn't stop barking.
Oh, what a fucking asshole. I mean, I hate this guy anyway, but fuck
was
you.
telling the-
This poor girl has like nothing left and her dog is dead.
telling the cops, I'm afraid he killed my dog. And they're like, oh yeah, but also.
But also
Yeah.
your mom and sister are dead.
Oh
brother. Yeah.
Brother.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
When Hoffman was questioned about his kidnapping of Syrah and the whereabouts of her family and neighbor, he displayed a chilling lack of understanding that he had done anything wrong.
He
confessed, but he tried to cover it up.
Well, yeah, so he absolutely knew that he had done something
So he's
wrong.
a psychopath. He's a psychopath.
He's full of shit.
He confessed to investigators that he had made a bed of leaves for Syrah and covered it with blankets and told him that, quote, she liked that bed. It was extremely comfy and I wanted to sleep on it.
No bed of leaves will be comfortable.
Honey, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
In the drive. Not comfortable.
He also insisted that he had treated her well during her time at his house of leaves. He had given her Treasure Island to read, which is also just another like weird living in the woods, creepy. Ugh.
That's your only book.
And watch the movie Iron Man with her.
Well, how long had he had her at this point?
That was nice.
Iron Man is
He'd had her for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
He had to have to make her a bed of leaves and watch Iron Man.
Well, unless he was planning
and read
on
Treasure
keeping
Island.
her, so he made a bed in advance.
I'm sure he was, and I'm sure he did do that.
He said in his confession, quote, I would not have hurt her. I could not hurt her. I planned on giving her more and more freedom until she ran away.
Ick.
What?
In fact, he had sexually assaulted Syrah throughout the 4 days that she was confined.
He had her for a
to
while.
The basement.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And she's
Did
13.
he feed her? That's a long time.
I think so, but I don't know for
sure. That
sure.
makes it extra sad that she was like, I'm late for school. Please take me to school.
Ugh. She was just in such shock. I mean, can you imagine you come home from school, some wackadoo
Snatched
kidnaps you, his house is full of leaves, and he ties you to a bed of leaves?
And makes you watch
and
Iron Man.
sexually assaulted her. I can't.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And dresses her in a bag. No.
It's disgusting.
It's the most bizarre, improbable. I mean, of course she's in shock. How your brain can't process.
This is the most bizarre, disturbing case I think we might have ever covered.
In addition to insisting he had not harmed Syrah, I just sexually assaulted her.
Right. But I made her a bed of leaves. I'm fine.
He refused to reveal the location of the murdered victims. But then after days of interrogation...
Right, he moved the bodies. Oh, I forgot.
After days of interrogation, he claimed that he had a dream. And that was an omen telling him he needed to bring police to the bodies after all.
This guy is not right at all.
Sounds like you woke up from a dream and realized, I'm caught. I better work with the police or I'm going to be more
Or just
fucked.
Imagine the extent of these delusions to A, commit this act in the first place, B, seemingly honestly believe that nothing was wrong and that you were helping this little girl. And then finally, by being convinced by a dream to
with an omen,
bring the police to these bodies. The extent of his disassociation and he's not living in the right, clearly.
Or he's full of shit. Either way, it's bad.
Well, he's always towing that line between he's delusional, but also he's looking out for number one because he did try to work out a deal with investigators. So he offered to write the location of the bodies on a piece of paper if, in exchange, they would agree to shoot and kill him in an orchestrated escape attempt rather than send him to prison.
That still doesn't seem logical to me.
I mean, it's not.
No.
That makes no sense, and no one is going to agree to that arrangement.
No, I know, but that doesn't, to me, seem like, he's trying to work out a deal. It's like...
Also, couldn't the police just be like, yep, no problem. We'll absolutely, fella.
Well,
Chief,
tell us where they are.
Well, no, but they're allowed
write
to
it down right here, and then we'll shoot. Then we'll shoot you.
It's a well-known tactic to give
can lie.
partial truths
they
or
can
quite
lie.
literally lie.
I thought you meant the cops could have just fucking agreed to it and done it. In which case, no, they wouldn't.
No, I meant no. I meant lie to him to just get him to write it down. When police would not agree to his terms, he refused to speak for 2 days. Then changed his mind and revealed what he had done with the bodies of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie. So he just randomly changed he pouted for 2 days and then changed his mind and then told them everything.
Okay.
He explained that on the night of the murders, after dismembering the bodies, he had transported them to the Kokosing Wildlife Area near Fredericktown, Ohio. I probably said that wrong. Ohio? I probably said that wrong.
Ohio.
Hi.
I know I nailed Kokosing, but I don't know about
Fredericktown.
Here he had used a system of ropes and pulleys to climb to the top of a hollow tree and
Cups
place
and
the
plates to call the mothership.
place the bodies inside of the hollow
they
tree.
Never would have found them. They never would have found them.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
That's
is
so creepy.
next level creepy.
That's the creepiest part of it. That's creepier than the tree bed, the leaf bed.
Yep. I agree. That's way creepier than the tree bed.
Oh my God. Also, how have we never thought of this as a means for disposal?
Well, this kind of goes to the fact that his brain was so... everything was about trees and climbing trees and leaves, and it's so...
It's madness.
So
It's
bizarre.
all linked.
Mm-hmm.
Police searched the area that Hoffman had indicated and discovered the remains of the 3 victims and the family dog inside a 60-foot tall hollow beech
correction,
tree.
So you're
4 victims.
They never, right.
Right.
They never would have found
Never.
that.
No.
Never. Maybe if a hollow tree is gonna...
Even bringing dogs out and they are barking.
It would have been hard to locate.
Yeah. It
'Cause it's
wouldn't
like,
have
what
been a
the fuck are you
guarantee.
barking
They
at? Right.
could have dug and dug
At some
and dug.
point, that hollow tree would have fallen down. A city crew
Fallen.
would have come out to do it. But who the fuck knows when that would have been?
Right.
It reminds me of the Tana French book that I'm blanking on the name of, but there's a body in a hollow tree. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give it away. And also, I have a terrible memory.
I don't
There it
want to
is.
give it away.
I don't want to give it away. And also, I can't.
I can't because I can't.
My
remember.
mind is a steel trap.
A steel
No
sieve.
key.
Hoffman's arrest and the discovery of the bodies in the tree received massive press coverage in the area.
Yeah.
With many articles focusing on the strange and eerie nature of his tree obsession. Most experts interviewed for these articles believe that the leaf collecting habit was just a bizarre trait of Hoffman's that was
Just a quirk.
unrelated
Mm-hmm.
to his decision to commit murder.
I can
Nope.
send them this healthline.com article if they need it.
They're always related. If you have
Yeah.
a weird quirk and then you murder someone,
Yeah, it's tied together.
it's
You
connected.
better believe
There's a
I'm
link.
pulling the teeth of any victim I have and making a full tooth necklace out of it.
Making a necklace.
Of
yeah.
course.
That's why I put eye patches on all of my murder victims.
And Amanda gives them extensions and paints their nails.
Yep.
Gives them blue
And
hair.
claws. And blue hair because I like to look at myself. So sue
With
me.
mirrors in their eyes like Red Dragon.
Yes. Yes.
Others theorize that putting the bodies
She needed
in
an
the tree
audience. You would put mirror shards in their eyes.
Of course I would. And set up all the dolls
Yes.
to be watching me.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Fucking duh, you guys.
Create a giant cardboard Instagram frame around each body.
Yes. I want to see how it's going to look on my feed before I
instant
feed
killer.
on
filters
you.
on them.
Killer for the gram.
All
Oh my
this
god.
makes perfect sense, and of course.
Oh my god, I can't wait to run with this.
Mm-hmm.
So others theorize that Hoffman's putting the bodies in the tree may have been his twisted way of giving them a proper burial
No.
or of giving a sacrifice.
I was gonna say
to the
an
tree.
offering to the trees.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
I don't
Mm-mm.
like that.
I don't like that.
Doctor
I do not.
Jolie.
That's not good.
Dr. James Allen Fox, a professor at Northeastern University who has written numerous books on serial killers, said in an interview about Hoffman, quote, "If trees gave him comfort at all and were familiar at all, that would explain why he would put the bodies in a tree."
It was an object of safety for him.
It was a transitional object.
Oh my God. Transitional.
No.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
Transitional.
So stupid.
Okay.
In addition to the murder charges, Hoffman was charged with aggravated burglary, rape, should be child rape, kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. And he pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. Beautiful Queen Syrah was present at his sentencing hearing. And after her rescue, she moved in with her father, Larry Maynard, who had survived because they had divorced and he wasn't present at the time of the attack. In the ensuing years, she and her father wrote a book together about her kidnapping called The Girl in the Leaves and made public appearances on shows like Dr. Phil. Exactly.
I gotta Google that episode. Oh my God.
Tragically, though, her father's home was not a safe haven that Syrah needed after her trauma.
God damn it.
Because in 2013, Sarah's father and stepmother were arrested for physically abusing
Give
her.
the girl
Oh,
a fucking
Jesus.
break. Are you serious?
Yeah. So she
I
was
hate people.
removed from that home and taken in by another relative who hopefully has been able to provide her with the care that she needs and deserves. But yeah, it's just real sad. Again, fan pick. Real sad, real bizarre, and interesting, but really, really
bizarre.
sad.
That is horror movie worthy nonsense.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of this before. That is so fucking bizarre.
I had heard of like a guy and the leaves, and I had seen the pictures of his house, but I didn't know the full story.
You don't know
Yeah.
how much you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Do not like it.
I don't like it.
Okay, so also very dark.
Cool.
Maybe not quite. Well, no, it's as sad. It's less creepy. Well, it's pretty creepy. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
It's hard to make a hierarchy of these things.
It's all
and that
garbage.
one shouldn't.
You might like
Hierarchy
it.
of
Well,
leaves.
You won't like it.
Well, you're gonna hate it. Okay.
I'm gonna like it.
Oh, you're really not gonna like it. So we always think of Canada as such a gentle place.
Ooh.
And compared to the United States, I suppose it is, but this case from Canada is anything but gentle.
All the maniacs come from Canada.
That's not true.
Ryan Gosling, Justin Bieber, Alanis Morissette.
I love
Maniacs.
So,
He has
but
a
also,
new
like,
YouTube documentary out. Have you seen it?
Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
The Animaniacs.
It's called Justin Bieber Seasons.
Beaver.
Beaver? Justice Beaver? A
Did
crime
I say
fighting
beaver?
You definitely said Beaver.
Whatever. It's called Seasons.
Lumberjack Crimes.
Seasons.
Okay. Well, I'll check out Stevens by Justice Beaver. So, not like we'd have a gentle case at all in a Lumberjack Crimes episode, so whatever, it's fine. So, let's go back to the 1970s, because it was the 60s, and up to Creston, British Columbia, and there lived logger Dale Merle Nelson.
I don't like it.
A man as horrifying as his name.
I don't
Merle.
like it.
I don't like
Who looks at a little baby and goes, Dale?
Dale Merle. I didn't get enough in the first name, so we're just gonna make the second name Merle, and then to round it out with a Nelson.
This is my son, Coral.
Merle.
Oh, this
lived
baby
in-
has his father's eyes.
Merle. So he lived in Creston with his wife Annette and their 3 children. And a totally legit looking Tumblr post I found about this guy described him as a, quote, society dropout who kept his wife and 3 children in a small shack at the edge of the wilderness. Which, like, as a logger, sure. It's what it's. That's just how you live as a logger.
Zach was looking at, like, cabin Airbnbs for us to go spend a long weekend at. I was like, yeah.
None of these are. I'm not going to go be a logger for 48 hours.
Had a fucking outhouse.
No.
I was like,
who does he think you are?
Don't let your husband make any more decisions for you, especially after the last handyman he hired.
Honestly, you can just leave it at don't let your husband make any more decisions.
Honestly, you could leave it as
Period,
don't let
full
your
stop.
husband.
Don't let your husband.
don't
It's
worry.
done.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
I'm
done.
sure she put a stop to it.
I'm sure. She's still alive, so clearly
Yeah.
she did.
Don't worry about me.
Reports indicated he drank in excess often, and while drunk, had the nasty habit of physically abusing his wife. Despite a severe alcohol dependence, he was able to hold down consistent work at nearby logging camps, but his drinking was a serious problem coupled with his depression. He made an attempt at suicide at the age of 31, and as a result spent a few weeks being treated for his mental health at Riverview Hospital in Coquitlam. He was prone to benders of drugs and alcohol, and on one such bender, he committed an act of violence that would go down as one of the largest mass murders in Canadian history.
Oh, cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Can't believe I haven't heard of this.
I don't
Earl.
like it.
Dale Merle.
But also the degree to which we as United Statesians are insulated from like Canadian events is jarring.
I know, considering
There
especially
might as well be
Minnesota.
just like a wall of bags of leaves along the border.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Think
An
Trump would go for
impenetrable
leaves?
wall of leaves.
Would Trump go for
It's
leaves for the
sustainable.
southern border?
Leaves and
he's
recycled
barely built any of
CVS
it, so
bags.
he'd go for anything at this point.
Well, he's also blaming all of the wildfires on the West Coast on leaves, so maybe, I don't know.
Repurpose them.
I'm going to pitch it.
Yeah, you go ahead and contact Donald Trump to pitch building a wall. Good idea. I'm going to finish
Those are
my
those
case
are
while
optics
you work on
we
that.
don't need right now.
Yep. You work on that while I finish this over here in Sane Town.
Yeah, okay, over there in Sane Town.
Saner than whatever town you're in right now, pitching leaf walls to President Trump. Gwen.
okay.
That
Hypothetically.
comparison is pretty simple. So it's the evening of September 4th, 1970. Dale had spent the night partying with friends, downing beers and vodka at the Kootenai Hotel in Creston.
I want to have a. I was gonna say I want to have a hootenanny at the Kootenai.
Sounds like they
He
were.
left. They definitely were. He left the gathering without having raised any alarms to his friends, who later said he was acting completely normal. From the hotel bar, he made his way to a neighbor's house, who lived there was a woman named Maureen McKay. He stopped by because he wanted to retrieve a rifle that he had loaned her recently for the pending hunting season, like a bolt-action rifle. She obliged and returned the weapon, and then he proceeded to make another stop for ammunition and more beer, and then went on to a different hotel, the King George, where he continued his binge with another set of friends around 10:30 p.m.
Nothing like swinging by for more beer and ammunition.
Yep, but and
At
a
night.
rifle between hotel parties at 10:30 p.m. This is, I mean, it is Canada though. He might need to do some hunting, hangover
Moose
hunting.
are pretty inactive during at nighttime.
The night.
But whatever.
I mean, he's a monster. But I can
True.
see how, like, your neighbor showing up at, like, 10 p.m. and being like, I need that rifle I loaned you before hunting season
It's not like you're
starts,
going to
and-
say no, go
right,
away.
you're in the middle of nowhere in
Right.
Canada, and you're probably like, okay, I guess.
It was more just the stop for more beer and ammunition that was like, oh, who let
He's
this
up
happen?
to no good.
Yeah.
He's
we
up to
don't
no
like
good.
it.
You know, like,
We do not like it. So he decided to head on his way out around midnight. So he's at the King George. He's there at 10:30. He's with his friends. Midnight strikes. He's like, oh, yeah, I gotta go. But instead of going home, he went to his aunt's house who lived nearby. His aunt, Shirley Wasick, was married to Alex Wasick, who Dale knew would not be home that night with her 3 children because Alex was also a logger, and Dale knew that he was away working at a logging camp.
This is
So
his
Shirley
aunt.
and her 3 kids are home alone
Okay.
when he shows up. When he arrived at Shirley's home, she let him in because she obviously knows her nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is like Kenyan level bad. So just trigger warning. Here we go.
Lice?
It's worse than lice.
Okay.
And that was you, not Kenyan. You brought up the lice. Don't put that on her. Do not put lice on her, though.
Please don't.
She's already had
Dale?
them. She's immune.
That's
Nope, not how it works.
That's how
How
COVID
it
works. That's how this works.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. That's not how COVID
You
works.
are talking to the president.
Yeah, she's going through a
That
change.
communication line is
A
already
transition.
open. Transition.
Oh, leave me alone, you guys.
Leave me alone. So Dale immediately grabbed a small home fire extinguisher and used it to beat Shirley over the head.
Okay. I'm
Oh
sorry
my
for
She
joking.
yelled out, "No, Dale, don't," which alerted her 3 children to the emergency. He then proceeded to tie Shirley up and leave her on her bed as he turned to 2 of the 3 children, 8-year-old Charlene and 7-year-old Tracy, in their own room.
I love the name Charlie.
I know, me too. It's really cute. The eldest daughter, 12-year-old Debbie, snuck into her mother's room to untie her, grabbed the fire extinguisher, and when Dale approached her, she chucked it at his face and then ran off to get help.
Hell
so, like,
yeah,
good for
Debbie.
12
her.
years old, fucking Gwen.
Holy
Good for
shit.
her.
That's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
really amazing. I don't know if I would have the wherewithal to do that at 33, let alone 12.
No, I would
but-
certainly miss.
Right.
Well, I would like second guess my
Sure.
stance on whether to take violent action against an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, that's
As
awesome.
a 12-year-old. Yeah.
But
I
also
mean,
as
and
an-
an adult that you know.
As an any age woman, because
Mm-hmm.
I've been in dangerous situations where my instinct was like, grab those scissors, grab that hammer, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And like nothing happened, but by the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, yeah, and you'll react differently in every situation.
There's no formula for it.
no,
Yeah.
of course not. But that is fucking
Yeah.
brave.
Yeah,
she's
Oh, yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
So her act of bravery did save her, but not her mother and 2 sisters. Dale strangled Charlene and Tracy to death and then finished beating Shirley to death with the fire extinguisher.
So Shirley was so beaten up that
she was basically knocked out, I think.
right.
At that
So
point.
even after Debbie untied her, she couldn't run.
Move.
She was
Yeah.
done.
Got it.
So Debbie had run to the neighbor's home, who was none other than Maureen McKay, the woman that he had visited earlier to retrieve his rifle from, because he's doing this all in his own neighborhood,
To his
Like-
aunt.
to his own aunt,
He just wants to kill some people.
I guess.
Wow.
She had already heard a commotion at the neighbor's house and had called police who were on their way. Hearing sirens approaching, Dale took off, hoping to hide out at another home nearby, and he arrived on foot at the doorstep of Ray Phipps. Banging on the door and waking Ray, he came to the door and was immediately greeted with a rifle shot to the chest. Ray was killed instantly. Dale then entered the Phipps home to find Ray's wife, Isabel, and their 4 children.
Oh,
Isabel
Oh my
had time.
God.
Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't stop. Isabel had time to get to the phone to call police, but by the time they had arrived, she and 3 of her kids, Paul, 10 years old, Brian, 7 years old, and Roy, 18 months old, were all dead from gunshot wounds.
oh my God. I can't. I can't.
Oh my God.
I can't.
And their daughter, Kathy, could not be found in the home.
The only girl.
So for some reason, Dale decided to take Kathy with him. First back to his Aunt Shirley's house to further mutilate the bodies of the children while police were busy wandering the area searching for him.
What the fuck?
When he left Shirley's house, he brought Kathy along, still alive, and the body of Tracy, the youngest of his second cousins or whatever, and made for the woods. And this is when a manhunt began in full force.
So, okay, sorry. Tracy are these both
Dead.
Yes.
These are one of Shirley's kids, Tracy, who he had already killed.
So his relative.
And then Kathy, the one he brought with him, was Maureen McKay's daughter.
So these are
no, not Maureen's daughter, a third neighbor's daughter.
So these are
Isabel's
two daughters
Isabel's
from
daughter.
different families, different crime scenes.
Well, yes.
One
Tracy-
alive, one dead.
Jesus, are these the only two girls, little girls?
No, because
he
his
killed the other girls.
aunt had 3 daughters.
Okay.
Killed 2 of the 3.
I'm just
One
trying
got
to
away.
figure out.
It's a lot of names, yeah.
It's a lot.
But it's also like, what are your motivations? Do I want to know?
Well, I think you're probably just on the nose with exactly what you think his motivations are.
Gross.
So, with the help of community members, law enforcement, and bush pilots, Creston was searched from head to toe, and he was at large. So Creston, as a city, had Creston and then West Creston, and he was in the West Creston area, and they evacuated everyone from that area and moved people into the center of Creston to keep an eye on all of these residents, because he's just wandering and going to people's houses at random and killing them.
It's kind of
after a night of partying and drinking with friends.
Exactly.
It's kind of incredible that they can round up citizens.
I don't think there were that many people in West Creston. It seems like a very rural area, but yes, it's still a pretty impressive maneuver. But it seems to me it's basically go to the church in the town square, and there's going to be sheriffs posted up outside.
It's also the middle of the night. It's it's
the middle of the night, and there's a manhunt in full swing. So I'm sure people are knocking on doors and being "Go, get out of here!" You know?
Oh God!
It's just, it'd be terrifying. So Creston was searched from head to toe. Even Dale's own wife, Annette, teamed up with law enforcement to search for him. And there is an incredible photo of her on the drive, thanks to newspapers.com.
He had been abusive of her as well.
Yep. So she didn't question this one bit. She was like, this doesn't shock me. Let's go fucking,
he's a fucking monster.
So Dale's truck was found in a ditch on the side of the road only a mile or so outside of town on the afternoon of September 5th. So now they've been looking for him through the night and well into the next day. And they find his truck. So Dale had only been on the run for a few hours at this point. And in the truck, they found a bloody hammer. And within about 50 feet of the truck, they found the scattered remains of Tracy McKay, who had been dismembered by Dale, and several reports alleged he consumed some of her remains.
What kind of reports, though? Actual
newspaper, yeah.
But no,
legit
medical examiner reports?
Yeah, she had organs missing, and it was all pieces were conducive with having been bitten off of her.
Oh my God.
This guy, I know he was an abusive piece of shit before, but this
is a massive out of the blue escalation.
Escalated
though.
so fast.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. So the search continued, and the day of September 5th turned into night. Still no contact with Dale. Then on Sunday, September 6th, the search ended, and this is from the Province newspaper. Quote, and this is found from newspapers.com, written in the 70s. It was actually really interesting to go through all these old creepy
I love newspapers.com.
news stories. Yeah, it was good. Quote, first move in the capture came when a 6-man group with a dog posted near the West Creston cabin of Dale Merle Nelson, radioed headquarters that they had found a place in the dense brush where a man had been sleeping. So I don't think they saw his physical form. I think they saw the push down.
Yeah, the depression.
Area. And they were like, oh, this is right near his cabin. It looks like somebody was sleeping here.
Where he had been sleeping, not currently.
Correct. Correct. The alarm went out and 9 police units converged on a dirt road at the lower end of the cabin's clearing. The men gathered to get their orders and wait for the 6 men above the cabin to get into position. Policemen armed with high-powered rifles speed into a line and moved uphill across the clearing toward the cabin and the dense bush behind where they believed the armed and highly dangerous killer was hiding. End quote. So he had made his way back to his own property. He just did a big circle and made his way back to his own property.
Genius.
He was found there.
So smart.
And he was found there alone. So he gave himself, he's surrounded. He's got no chance. He gives himself up without a fight, and he told police that he had killed little Kathy McKay in the woods and told them where her body was. He had left her body in the woods. He told them where it was. Examination of Kathy's body showed evidence of rape, of course.
Ugh.
And when asked why he committed this horrific slaughter, he responded, quote, must have been LSD. That's it.
What the fuck?
Yep.
That's can't.
So he's saying that he took LSD on this night of the bender with the beer and the vodka and the whatever.
Yep. And that it compelled him to do all of these things.
I mean, as a person
is
that even possible?
As a person who's consumed LSD
without having the pre-existing like notion to perform an act like this, taking LSD is not going to make you become a mass murderer.
1,000% no.
It's just not.
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
So he leaned into this defense, entering a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity brought on by alcohol and LSD.
What year was this again? 70s?
1970. So there's definitely like...
There's like fear of LSD and those drugs.
And like the hippie hating. And so I think it was just a convenient like,
must have been that LSD.
So he was in fact found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. And he remained behind bars for 28 years before dying in jail of throat cancer in 1999, which like, fuck you, you deserve it.
Yeah, bye.
He was only 33 years old when he committed this crime and entered prison. So our age when he did this, which is bonks. He lost it and slaughtered 8 people, mostly children, at the same age that we are right now.
That is so, again, bizarre and dark.
I don't
What a bizarre episode.
This is
so bizarre.
This is the sustained activity of this episode, and also just the rape. It just no. You
very violent.
You clearly had these proclivities.
You don't like it. Oh, had to have.
And I really also doubt that this was the first and only time he had done something like this.
Honestly, I don't know if he'd ever killed before. I can believe that he hadn't killed.
Some sort of assault, though, something. There's
only because it's a small community.
Community in Canada, so it's going to be harder for me to get some of the news on it anyway. In the 70s, where I'm like trying to comb through newspapers.com, I don't have access to a history for this guy because he had just kind of flown under the radar as a fucking rural logger for the majority of his life.
And I don't believe there is more information about this guy.
I really don't know if there is.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was a drifter. He was married with 3 kids in that community.
Yeah. And he didn't touch a hair on his kids' heads like in this incident.
There's clearly a big gap between what we know because of media publications and what we do not know what happened.
Right, and the type of people that we are that want to understand how this could have possibly happened, that is really frustrating to be like, oh, we don't have any kind of history to be able to see how you turn in from, a logger with a substance use problem to murdering 8 people, mostly kids.
No.
Like there's something.
There's a huge disassociation there. We're
something
never
is missing
gonna
in that
know.
story.
We're never gonna
not
know.
Gonna know.
That's
and on that note, that's my case.
Well,
great.
Wow.
Thanks a lot, Dinah.
We'll leave it there.
We're gonna rake it up and leave it there.
Rake it up. Oh my God.
Thank you. A special thanks this week to our fan picker, Ryan.
Oh, Dinah. It was a real treat.
It was a treat.
Real hollowed out treat.
Oh my God. Okay, we gotta go.
Next time you want to bark up the wrong tree, you know where to go.
You know where to find us.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Thank you to Ryan.
All right,
Thank you to
careers
everyone.
are over. So maybe we won't see you next week. Maybe we will.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.